from CNBC, the SAVE Act. House advances Trump-backed voter ID bill. The Save America Act, supported by President Donald Trump, would require proof of citizenship to register to vote and a photo ID at the ballot box. The legislation would make it harder to vote, Democrats and voting rights groups warn, and has been the subject of a pressure campaign from the White House, congressional GOP hardliners, and right-wing influencers. I can't even with this. Now that the bill has advanced out of the House, it has slim odds of passing in the Senate, where 60 votes are needed to overcome a filibuster. Let me just say this. The Republicans need to just get rid of the filibuster. Just goodbye. And I also want to stress this. The fact that CNBC is putting in these caveats of like Democrats say it'll make it harder to vote. Yes. First of all, good. More importantly, shut up. It's voter ID. OK, when I go to a gas station to buy a 40 of King Cobra, they ask for my ID. OK, and that's the least consequential thing I might do.
Tim, you drink a lot of King Cobra?
All the time, bro.
He's off like 2 right now.
Oh, dude. Is that still around? They still have King Cobra?
Don't look at me. I don't
No, when I was 18, that's all we would drink.
Dude.
Odie's a king.
Odie's?
And I'm 18. You're not supposed to drink, so I recommend against it. But it was like $1.40 for a 40. It was guaranteed to get drunk on the weekend.
In my day.
They used to have 40s for
day.
For $1.50, you get a 40. No wonder the birth rate's so low.
The show is already off the rails.
Yeah, birth rate would skyrocket if we got the price.
And it was
back
like
down.
a joke in my community, in my community, my neighborhood with all my friends, because it was so dirt cheap. But we are like, bro, you could panhandle, get drunk on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So it was like, let's party, and like you go to somebody like, can I get $1 for the bus? I'm gonna go buy King Cobra. You know,
How far
don't do that. Anyway, the point is, when you walk in to do some of the most inconsequential things you can think of, they ask for your ID. In fact, some people get asked for ID literally just walking down the street sometimes. That's just nothing. And then they're like, would you like to have a say in who our government is going to blow up overseas? Yes. Don't need an ID for that.
Well, you look at the documentation, so real ID, right? If you want to fly in this country, if you want to have right of mobility to be able to fly on an airplane, you need either a passport, which requires all sorts of identification to get, or one of the real IDs, which is also requiring birth certificates. And by the way, if you got married, you have to show your marriage certificate, which this is crazy, by the way, because my wife, I tested this out. I married her. She changed her name to my name. Like this was all a big voter ID test. And then I was like, okay, were you able to figure out how to vote? She figured it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
She totally figured it out.
Really?
Somehow. So that's one. We got one.
Very impressed.
We got one.
Dude, it's crazy. You go to the library and you want to use the computer there. You got to have an ID. But then to use the computer at a voting precinct, you don't need one. It makes 0 sense. The homeless people going to the library to jerk off, like you need ID for that.
I love.
You don't need one to what? Jerk off in a voting? I don't get it.
It was a funny post on X. They were like, who said this? If voter ID
Tate, no gooning in the voting booth.
This country.
Tate,
dude.
no.
They do that.
Stop
in the
it.
UK. If
Canada.
voter ID is racist, IDs are racist. Yeah. Right? If the idea is it's racist to ask someone for an ID to vote, then it's racist to ask someone for an ID ever. But you know what the thing is? That's actually what they're trying to do. Right? Look at the illegal immigration issue. If I'm walking down the street, I'm going to be completely honest, and the libertarians are going to start screaming and banging on the floor. If I'm walking down the street and a cop comes up to me and says, "Excuse me, sir, you match your description. Do you have an ID on you?" I'd be like, "Yeah. Here you go. Is there something going on?" That's all that happened.
Well, that was the whole thing with this DoorDash driver down in the Nancy Guthrie thing last night.
Oh, he didn't give his ID?
No. He gave his ID, but it was the description. So he matched the description, and they said that he had worked in Tucson, and I guess somebody had called in and said, oh, the eyes, because you could see the mask. And that was all it was. And they went to a judge and were able to get a search warrant for his house just based on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't like the idea of like cops stopping everybody and like papers, please, but it's not that big a deal for a cop to be like, we're looking for somebody with an ID. Like, here you go. I'm not going to answer any questions. Appreciate it. Thanks. Have a nice day.
I saw a list of how many.
That's racist.
I saw a list of the countries that require an ID to vote. It's like 100 of them. Like it is the most normal thing in the developed world to say, we've got to see an ID to make sure that you are who you are. And that you're eligible to vote. The only reason to not, and everybody's been saying this, ubiquitously on X, but the only reason to not is because you're looking for ways to cheat. You're looking for ways.
It's so obvious.
Completely obvious.
Well, considering that even Democrat voters are like, we should have voter ID.
Right.
everybody agrees with it. And the Democrat politicians are like, no, you don't understand. We'll never win again. I mean,
You don't understand. It's a wedge issue. Oh, I didn't know.
Could you? I just.
Well, but
I
women. Wait, there was a TikTok. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he had that line about like black people can't get online or something? They don't know how to use the internet.
Yeah.
You remember, he said this
It was
something,
Kathy
right?
Hochul as well. Yeah.
And then someone there was a black TikToker. And he made this video
Oh, is that where he's bouncing?
where he's just like bouncing up and down and like smashing his
that was a
laptop.
Kathy Hochul video.
He's poking. Yeah, yeah.
Kathy
yeah.
Hochul.
Oh, was it Kathy? I thought it was
she
Biden.
was like,
Was it
"There's
Hochul?
kids in the Bronx that don't even know what a computer is."
So he's like jumping around and like
That
banging on
was
it.
sorry. That
Crazy.
was the funniest.
Is that real?
No. Oh,
I thought
okay,
it
hold on.
was because it sounds like something Biden would say. To be fair,
This is what pisses me off. A black
he's like
a black man jumping up and down like he's a monkey, smashing the computer, and that was like there's nothing racist about doing that. He was criticizing their racism. Trump puts out this video where they put the faces of all these Democrats on animals from The Lion King.
It was The Lion King, yeah.
And then everyone's like, Trump's a racist. And you know what pissed me off? Media Matters took my quote and ran with it as if I'm racist. I said it's not racist. Not every depiction of a stereotype is racist. The intention matters. My point is, could you imagine if it's like, hey guys, for lunch day at the office, I'm ordering a whole bunch of Buffalo Wild Wings, but not for the black employees because that would be racist. It's just, did you believe what Tim Pool did? He ordered a bunch of fried chicken and then he has black employees eating them. I'm like, yes, because everybody loves it. It's not racist. Okay. Someone making a meme video where there's a bunch of Democrats on the faces of animals does not mean that Trump intentionally depicted the Obamas only as apes and then insulted them as if they were. That would be racist. And this is the reality we get. So anyway, I bring that up only because we point out, as Kathy Hochul says, black people don't know how to use computers. A black person made a video of him pretending to be like a monkey confused by a computer. No outrage. Come on. Everyone thought it was funny.
He's pounding it.
It could have been real. I don't know. Maybe he really hadn't seen a computer before. we documented it.
But somehow he got on TikTok. So
You know what I really love about this narrative that women don't know how to vote is,
so true.
I think we should roll with it. I think we should just say to the Democrats, you are right. Women aren't that smart, right? And that's a problem. Maybe they shouldn't vote then. If the argument from Democrats is that women don't know how to change their names, which is like a standard thing every woman does when they get married, then
every good woman.
Every good woman.
Ooh.
Some hyphenate.
Spice.
That's the other point, too. You don't have to change your name. So, like, this would be that women can't vote. No, because conservative women definitely want to vote, and liberal women aren't changing their names. So they can have a nice day.
Yeah, what if the women get hurt at the voting booth? I would hate if that happened.
That's a really great point. They might prick themselves on the pen and get an infection.
Yeah, break
and then
a
it's
nail.
amputation.
Yeah.
And then gangrene. We should just make sure the women aren't
the funniest thing.
near the voting booths.
The funniest thing about this too, though, is that when you look at actual demographics in just any post-election poll, any exit poll, you're going to see married women typically tend to vote more Republican to begin with.
Yes,
And
but
so the
that's
point
correlation, not causation.
Perhaps, but
Conservative women are more likely to get married.
Well, because they're more like, of course. But my point being is, so if married women were to the detriment for voter ID, then conservatives actually thought that was a problem. Then wouldn't we be the ones shooting ourselves in the foot if we're for voter ID? Like, wouldn't it benefit the liberals to have voter ID then? Because it would disproportionately affect conservative women.
Yeah,
right.
Arguably,
Right, but they don't. But they don't. But it's like you guys, your own argument, even within your own frame, doesn't make any sense.
Of course,
because it would benefit you.
But that's
if for some reason this were true.
That's why I'm saying we got to roll with it. So if you ever debate a liberal, like I'd love to see, like Michael Knowles debate Harry Sisson again, and he can say, you know what, Harry, I agree. Women aren't smart enough to figure out how to vote. So, maybe we should consider that. Can you say that for everyone publicly that women can't figure this out? Say it.
Right.
And then he's going to be like, well, of course they can figure it out. Oh, so there's no problem with voter ID then.
So Scott Adams used to talk about this, and I don't know if you've seen the whole controversy with AI Scott Adams. It's like it's huge back and forth thing.
What is it?
Well, let me say the first part for that, where he used to say that the way you can defeat bad arguments is through like aggressive agreement with them.
Yeah,
just aggressively agree with everything and then push it as far as possible.
Well, that's a standard tactic called rapport extreme turn.
Right.
So we've explained it on the show. 101. Here's a lesson for you guys. Whenever you're trying to persuade someone, and Scott Adams was a master of this stuff.
Of course.
You can't approach them as an enemy. You have to approach them as a friend. So that's the first step is rapport. So when someone approaches you with a statement, you agree with it. They say the SAVE Act is sexist. It's going to disproportionately affect women.
You're right.
Your response is, you are so right. These maggots are trying to take women's right to vote away. Now you have rapport. This lowers their defenses, and they say, oh, okay, this person's a liberal. They're like me. You then offer them the extreme, which is, women just aren't smart. Their IQs are lower than men's. Men are smarter. And the Republicans, they're trying to take away women's right to vote because they know women are just generally not that intelligent, relative to men, of course. Liberal can't agree with that. So now you've entered their argument on their side and then made a point in their argument they cannot agree with, creating an extreme. Then when they say, well, I don't know about all of that, you give them what's called the turn, which is a solution in your direction where you say, okay, well, I guess you're right. I mean, women are smart enough to figure out how to vote even with an ID. I agree. So once again, you're agreeing with them, but you've inverted their point by pushing them too far.
So good.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.